of our members are here. Myself, Chantel Jacqueline, the school counselor at Olympic View, and then I'll let you.
Sharon Tabalbag, instructional coach. Our original team is a team of 5, with our principal, behavior interventionist, and our literacy development teacher. One is sick, one is subbing at Sequoia Middle School as admin, and Janai's on maternity leave. So,
we're representing our team, and they all put in work. And we're just gonna very hone in on the work. Okay, so, right here.
I can do that one.
Okay. So, we started developing our question here at this location, and it took us time to really dive really deep into the question, because we really wanted to know what's really going on. So our team noticed an increase of elopement and disengagement with our Black students and 2 or more race, our multi-race students. We noticed that, so that was like our focus. We started creating a question by focusing on what was not happening. And through the revisions and the feedbacks that we did together as a team, we started adjusting our question and seeing what is happening, what's really going on in our hallways and in the classrooms. So our final question, what are the classroom conditions and enable scholars who frequently elope to feel affirmed in their identity and sense of belonging among those who identify as Black or 2+ races? So that was our focus question. So highlight it right there, big and proud of our question. So, but then we started moving on into what students are we going to have these conversations with? So that leads us into our listening stage. So we come together as a team, and we start saying, what kind of questions are we going to ask these kindergartners, these first graders? Like, come on, we have to ask these kids, so, because, I mean, that's tricky, right? So, our guide, our book on 105, gave us the opportunity to explore some questions. Yes, we had to tweak the questions for our kindergartners and our first graders, but they have a voice, so we tweaked it so they can understand the questions. And so that's how we gathered our questions. We used the book, the street data book, to listen. One thing I really want to highlight with Olympic View is we listened. We deeply listened to our students. Our first cycle of listening was real deep and rich. And so that moved into the next part, our street data for Scholars of Margin. So we took students from each class, each grade level, one student from each class to hear their voice. And the students that we select, we didn't really select them, we noticed the behaviors. Why are they leaving the classroom? Why are they disengaging? We noticed these behaviors, and that's the ones that we wanted to say, we want to hear your voice. We want to see what's going on here. So here are some of the voices, samples of voices that we did. And I want you to read it to yourself. I'm not going to read it out to you. So I want you to hear the words that they're saying through your lens. And these words are from our babies. These are our kindergartners, our first graders, our second graders, all the way up to our third graders. They really spoke to us. And that led us into the next part of our journey and our story, is to uncover it. Wow, when we uncovered it as a team, it was so emotional. I got my feelings. Yes, I did cry. Yes, people got really emotional because we heard their voice. And of course, we got in the mindset, we need to fix this. But it's not about fixing it. We need to uncover it. We need to see what's going on. We need to bring this to a team. So we decided to bring it to the cell team. We used the protocol with Lauren, who helped us through this journey. So when we unpacked it with Lauren and the cell team, that brought a different scenario to the story. Our team, the cell team was not, and I'm gonna be very vulnerable, was not ready to hear this. Because it triggered a lot of people in the cell team, and especially not everybody engaged in Street Data, the book. So not just the book, the protocol, the whole thing. So they didn't really understand what Street Data was, what we were doing. It was not to present to them as like, oh, we need to take this personal. It was information that we wanted to build off and make changes. So some of our people and our cell team got a defense. Like, we can't have our teachers see this. They're not gonna feel okay about this. So I think moving forward with this challenge is preparing our staff for Street Data, preparing them to understand what is the protocol and guiding them more deeply to understand, then come to a defense. So that leads into our wonderful coach. Yeah.
So we did listening and then realized we needed to collect more data, and so we went back to listening, and then we uncovered first as a Street Data team, there was team of 5, and then after that we felt like we needed our cell team to experience that, and so Lauren basically mirrored the same process with our cell team, and then that's what Chantel just elaborated on. And so similarly, same process for Reimagine. Lauren walked us through as a cell team, Reimagine. Dr. Dugan hopped on board. She took us on and she coached us personally on Zoom. I felt like a, rock star. I'm like, woo, Dr. Dugan's coaching us personally. And so that was awesome. And so we came up with, I know the bullet points are kind of small, but some Reimagine ideas. And then we're like, this is so powerful, let's do it with our cell team. So round 2 with the cell team. And with the cell team, those are kind of our ideas. So one is student voice to guide us, like Choice Wednesdays came out of listening to students. And so students who say, well, let's make school more fun, they decided on what activities they would like. And so for an hour on the last early release day of every month, kids got to do Choice Wednesday, and it was driven by their ideas. And then we were hoping to use that to drive PD. Because instructional time is where we see the most elopement. And so what can we do about in-class time? And then the second idea was asking students, what would make you feel excited during math or ELA? And then the team decided, the cell team, let's focus on ELA. And listening for their ideas on what would make it exciting in class. What could ELA look and sound like that would, make you feel happy and get you excited? And so that was the plan, to share that with the staff. Staff will listen, kind of repeat the process, and then use that information to create at least one lesson that's driven by student voice. And then jumping off of that and using that feedback to drive professional learning for staff. Hopefully with some student leading or facilitating of that learning. So it was like a Disneyland idea, and we wanted to go there.
3 minutes.
Okay, so then here's the reality. We have a celebration of learning night, usually in June, got pushed up to May 4th because May 8th, that's a Thursday, May 8th, Janai is due to give birth and she wanted to be part of that. So she's like, we're pushing it from June to May. And so then it kind of took a detour from what the SELT team wanted to do. It's like we started all over. We brought it to whole staff and we asked everyone this question. It's trying to kill two birds with one stone. It didn't work. And so what do you want your community to know about you as a learner? And then hopefully whatever comes out of it is a student product. It's what they want to highlight. Unfortunately, it became a checkbox, and what resulted was very teacher driven. This is what we shared with whole staff. Basically, our original question to our revised question, the 4 cycles, and let's do this. And here's our question. You're gonna go ask all the kids this. So next slide. And then we're like, well, some kids won't understand what that means. What do you want for your community to know about you as a learner? So we broke it down into some more like sub-questions, if you will. How do you like to learn? Think of a time you learned something new. What happened? What do you wish your family knew about you as a learner? So more student-friendly. And then the products that came out of it was each grade level team decided on what the product is. So everybody, for example, in kindergarten did a poster. Everybody in 5th grade did a writing about the rainforest. And so that's kind of where we landed. This is, so you can see kind of a sample, right? Some of it was, the template was given and it became a fill in the box. And then everybody draws their picture. So, yeah, they were visibly teacher-led. Last slide. Okay, so here's kind of our takeaways. We need to learn to listen better. And what does that look like? To really authentically elevate student voice. And so our hope for next year is to build PD and whole staff understanding of what street data is, the cycles, and experiencing that slowly. We want to build staff understanding on equity traps and tropes and really explicitly naming what we see in our local context. And then our growth area, the reimagining. So we felt like we had strong listening and uncovering data and processes and reflections, and reimagine is where we kind of went to the detour. And so we know that reimagine is our growth area, and perhaps that starts with a shared understanding with staff and going back to listening.
And I want to add in, when we did the learning, we really, it was like a checkbox. It was not student-centered. And this street data is student-centered, hearing their voice, not telling them we're going to put on a celebration of learning. They didn't have an opportunity to say that. But we wanted to go back and look at this. Okay, this is teacher-driven, not student voice-driven. So that's one of our things that we want to bring back for next year.
And looking back, we were thinking maybe we should have just kept it to the street data and SELT teams versus launching whole staff right away in April.
And the cool thing about this was that we learned from this. So now it's going to be beautiful next year because we know what to do and what not to do, right? So we're going to leave that with